my confident and honest Aries friend. Hello and welcome. My name is Mina, and I'm here to offer you a 3-card reading exploring the themes of you, your path, and your potential. I invite you to consider what the reading reveals about possible challenges, opportunities, and personal growth for the week ahead. Take a deep breath, rest your mind, and let's see what the cards have to share with you today. Aries, there's a certain hush beneath all the movement in your week. It's not an obvious tension, more like a subtle weight pressing just under your ribcage, an awareness that something fundamental is shifting. You may notice yourself carrying a persistent restlessness, a sense that you're not quite who you were even a week ago. This isn't loud. It's the quiet kind of unease that creeps in when you realize a door has closed, but you're not sure what lies beyond it. Maybe you catch yourself hesitating, standing in that space between what's ended and what hasn't yet begun. You feel it in the way you exhale, in the moments when your usual fire dims to embers and you're left with a question. What now, and who am I as I cross this invisible threshold? That feeling of endings, but also of suspended beginnings, is your silent companion now. It doesn't announce itself, but it colors your thoughts and the tone of your interactions. You might find yourself holding back words you would usually say, or pausing before making choices that once felt automatic. There is a sense of reverence for what has passed, even if you're not entirely sure what you're mourning. In this liminal space, the urge to act wrestles with the wisdom to pause. The tension is real, but so is the opportunity it brings. Within this emotional landscape, the card Death surfaces, not as a force to fear but as a mirror for what's already happening within you. It's less about loss and more about the clarity that comes with letting go. There's a vulnerability here, an honest acknowledgement that something in your life or within yourself has reached its natural conclusion. You may feel stripped of certain defenses, as if layers have fallen away and you're meeting yourself anew. The sense of finality isn't dramatic. It's a gentle, persistent tug, calling you to release what no longer fits. This could be an old identity, a habit, or even a relationship dynamic that's quietly expired. Emotionally, you're hovering between relief and uncertainty. There's a rawness to your inner state, but also a strange calm, as if you've stopped fighting against a current and are finally letting it carry you. The unspoken tension is in the transition itself, the part where you can't go back, but you don't quite know how to move forward. You might notice your thoughts circling around the same memories or regrets, but there's less weight to them now. With this comes a subtle invitation to witness yourself in this in-between, not needing to rush toward rebuilding, not needing to cling to what's ending. You're learning to be present with the empty space. This inner acceptance, however tentative, opens the way for something new to take shape. From this place, the world doesn't demand a grand gesture. What it asks of you is something quieter, to trust that shedding is not the same as losing. The moment you recognize this, a new kind of energy stirs, a readiness to respond to life from a place that's been cleared and made honest by recent endings. It's this willingness to let go, this pause in your usual momentum, that sets the stage for what comes next. The discomfort of endings naturally gives rise to questions about direction and purpose. You're not meant to stay in this liminal space forever. The internal shift you've experienced, the soft but unmistakable surrender, begins to shape your path forward. The world around you seems to sense the difference. People might respond to you in new ways, or circumstances arrange themselves so that a new challenge or responsibility lands in your lap. With the King of Wands stepping in, your path becomes charged with a fresh current of momentum. The emotional stillness of before gives way to a rising sense of agency. There's pressure here, not necessarily from others, but from within yourself. You may feel the sudden urge to take charge, to set something in motion that reflects your truest intentions. This isn't about bravado. It's about feeling the pulse of possibility and realizing you're the one to shape what comes next. Friction emerges as your desires brush up against lingering doubts. You might notice opportunities that excite you but also intimidate you because they ask you to step into a new kind of visibility or authority. The world seems to ask, what are you willing to claim? Where will you direct this force that's waking up inside you? There may be situations where you're called to make your stance clear, to lead, to speak, to act with conviction even if you're not certain of the outcome. As you move along this path, the energy feels alive, sometimes even restless. You're no longer satisfied with waiting for permission or consensus. There's a drive to create, to express, to build momentum around an idea or project that matters to you. Yet, alongside this, there's also the risk of overreaching or burning out. The pressure can feel exhilarating and daunting in equal measure, as if you're straddling the line between inspired action and impulsiveness. The challenge is to harness this surge, to channel it thoughtfully rather than letting it run wild. The week's events may conspire to test your resolve. You could face moments when your vision is questioned, or when you're asked to back up your intentions with concrete action. There's a real sense of friction as your newfound clarity encounters the realities of the world around you. Yet this friction is generative. It sharpens your sense of purpose and gives shape to the raw energy that's been gathering beneath the surface. It's clear that the quality of what emerges now depends on how you engage with it. Simply riding the wave of momentum won't be enough. The path ahead asks you to show up with both courage and discernment, to recognize when to push and when to pause. Conscious engagement is what transforms this week's pressures into meaningful progress. Your potential, the horizon that opens when you meet this moment fully, takes shape in the spirit of the Seven of Wands. Here's where the invitation shifts from passive acceptance or bold action to something more nuanced. The willingness to stand your ground, to hold steady when your intentions are tested. Growth, in this context, isn't about dominating or defeating obstacles. It's about showing up for yourself when circumstances challenge your sense of worth or direction. There's a subtle kind of strength in defending what matters to you, even if you're not entirely sure others will understand. The week may ask you to clarify your boundaries, to articulate what you are and aren't willing to compromise. This could mean sticking with a decision that feels right, even if it draws skepticism. It could look like advocating for your priorities in a conversation, or simply refusing to let self-doubt erode your momentum. In all of this, growth is an ongoing invitation, not a promise of triumph, but a steady unfolding of confidence and integrity. As you embody this potential, you may find yourself surprised by your own resilience. The challenges you meet become less threatening and more like mirrors, showing you what matters most. There's a quiet satisfaction in knowing you can weather tension without losing yourself. Each moment you show up with clarity, you reinforce your sense of purpose and self-trust. The week doesn't guarantee ease, but it does offer the chance to become more fully yourself, one small act of courage at a time. When you look back over these days, the thread becomes clear. Death's quiet ending, the King of Wands' restless call, and the Seven of Wands' grounded resolve all weave together into a single movement of transformation. You begin in uncertainty, letting go of what's finished and honoring the emptiness that follows. From there, energy returns, not as chaos but as a focused drive, urging you to step into new territory with intention. Finally, as you meet the world's friction, you discover the depth of your own conviction. Not every challenge needs to be overcome, some simply need to be met with the assurance that you belong in the space you're claiming. Even as the week closes, the emotional landscape feels quieter, more settled. The old restlessness softens, replaced by a new steadiness. You may find yourself breathing a little deeper, carrying a sense of respect for both your endings and your beginnings. The reassurance comes not from the promise of easy outcomes, but from the knowledge that you moved through this turning point with honesty and heart. In the end, you're not just changed, you're more yourself than you were before. Actionable insights for Aries this week. Notice what you're letting go of and give yourself permission to feel a little lighter, even if it's just for a moment. Try speaking one truth out loud that you've been holding in, simply to hear how it sounds in the air. If you feel yourself bracing against resistance, pause and let your breath find its own rhythm before responding. Spoken word affirmations to repeat aloud for a more positive mindset. I honor what is ending, even as I move on. My voice carries the truth of my intention. I am allowed to take up space, fully myself. This moment is my proof. I am ready. And now, dear friend, I thank you for giving me your time. I truly hope I have given you something helpful in return. Goodbye and good luck until next time.